Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Calabasas City Council meeting of April 8th, 2026. It is 7 p.m., and I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm James Bazagian, the mayor, and I'm joined tonight by council members Alicia Weintraub, Peter Kraut, Ed Albrecht, and David Shapiro. Welcome to our meeting. We will take roll call. Well, actually, we don't need to take roll call. I'm sorry, Wednesdays I go to the liability trust fund and everything, because people are virtual, we have to take roll calls on every little thing. So I'm still in that mode of that 3-hour meeting. So we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Who would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance here? Deputy, would you like to? Cienfuegos? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
5-0. Report of closed session, our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. We did meet in closed session to discuss the 4 items listed on the agenda. Existing litigation with Mountains Restoration Trust versus City of Calabasas, as well as existing litigation, City of Calabasas versus County of Los Angeles, as well as labor negotiations and the employee evaluation for the city manager. No reportable action was taken on any item.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is a presentation from Los Angeles County by our field representative from Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, and that is Daniel Vicente, who's here. He's going to give us an update. Is there any kind of PowerPoint or
Nope, it is just my voice.
Okay.
And my face. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City staff. My name is Daniel Vicente. I'm so proud to be here on behalf of our County Supervisor, Lindsay Horvath, joined tonight by my colleague, J.C. Carter, our Emergency Management Liaison and constituent advocate out of our Calabasas office. I have a few legislative updates and general updates from our office to run through tonight. Firstly, our office will be hosting the Topanga evacuation drill on Saturday, April 18th. I have emailed that to the city manager, and you guys are welcome to join us as well. That will be happening here in Calabasas at King Gillette Ranch. The 18th from 9 a.m. to noon. If you do hear about any evacuations taking place in Topanga, no need to fear. It is just a drill, and we look forward to seeing you there if you can make it, but no pressure. The board is taking action against fraud in the home health and hospice industry because some companies have been taking advantage of vulnerable seniors and patients. The goal is to better protect residents and make sure care providers are actually doing what they are supposed to do. Right now, oversight can be confusing because multiple agencies are involved. The county wants local, state, and federal agencies to work together more closely so fraud cases do not fall through the cracks. Supervisor Horvath broke ground on a $14 million water project in Malibu that will improve water pressure and make it easier for firefighters to respond during fires. The project will benefit Malibu, Topanga, Sunset Mesa, as well as several of our unincorporated communities. The project is part of a larger effort to modernize local water systems serving more than 20,000 people in the Santa Monica Mountains. The board is moving forward with the plan to improve services for young people in county juvenile facilities by focusing more on youth development, education, support services, and positive outcomes. Metro also approved the next steps for the K-Line Northern Extension, which would create a new rail connection from the South Bay and LAX through Mid-City and eventually up to West Hollywood and Hollywood. This would become the first major north-south rail line through the middle of Los Angeles and make it easier for people to get to jobs, housing, and major destinations without driving. Supervisor Horvath introduced a motion to better connect mental health care with homeless services because too many people are falling through the cracks between systems. Right now, it is just unrealistic to expect that someone having a mental health crisis will be able to take themselves into a clinic, and so the county is meeting them where they're at to make sure that they get those vital services and they're connected. The idea is to make it easier for people experiencing homelessness and serious mental health illnesses to get connected to mental health treatment, housing, as well as long-term support. Supervisor Horvath is also asking the county to study the possible impacts of a proposed Warner Brothers merger because there are concerns it could lead to entertainment industry job losses. The county wants to understand how many jobs could be affected and what support may be needed for workers if there are layoffs or other disruptions. The board also extended price gouging protections for residents impacted by the fires so businesses cannot unfairly raise prices on rents, goods, or services while families are still recovering from the Palisades and Eaton fires. There was one part that the board left out, however, this time around. The data was showing that folks who lost their homes are no longer staying in hotels and motels, so those protections have been lifted to allow some breathing room for our hospitality industry. Supervisor Horvath advanced a motion to explore creating a regional wildfire protection authority for the Santa Monica Mountains so agencies can work together more effectively on brush clearance, vegetation management, and fire prevention. The county is also reviewing whether road work and other activities in high fire danger zones should be paused during red flag or PDS days when weather conditions make wildfire risk especially high. Right now, Southern California Edison, as well as Public Works, is doing a lot of work in the Santa Monica Mountains, specifically around the Topanga community, Old Topanga Canyon Road, which I know a lot of people here in Calabasas commute on. And we want to make sure that if there is a red flag day or a PDS, which is the weather phenomenon that occurred during the Palisades and Eaton fires, that people are able to evacuate. Right now, there's sort of an unspoken policy that goes on where they already cancel that work, but what this does is it solidifies it and puts it puts it on paper so that we have something to point at if we do receive any pushback. That is, those are all the updates I have. Happy to take any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you, and we'll start with Alicia. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, council member.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I better be consistent. I'll just say thank you for being here and thank the supervisor for all her excellent work. And we look forward to working together very soon on the completion of the annexation and moving forward. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. I don't have any cards, so I don't think there's any other component, but thank you for the update.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you for going easy on me. I appreciate it.
Okay, next we have the Sheriff's Crime Report. Deputy Cienfuegos, I think you're giving that.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Here to provide you with the crime report for February of 2026. There was a total of 21 Part 1 crimes in February. Part 1 crimes were down 28.1% compared to February of last year. This consisted of 3 aggravated assaults. 2 of those incidents occurred in the park streets. Both of those incidents were domestic violence incidents. The suspects in those incidents were taken into custody by deputies on scene. The third incident occurred at the 4800 block of Commons Way. Deputies responded and took 2 suspects into custody on that case. All of those cases are active cases and ongoing at this time. We did have 1 commercial burglary, which occurred along a business of Parkway Calabasas. As of right now, the detectives are working on that case. They have identified some suspects, so they're looking at possibly serving taking people into custody there very shortly on that one. Other than that, we had a total of 14 thefts that occurred. 3 of them were grand thefts, which occurred along Commons Way and the Avalon apartment complex. There were 3 vehicle burglaries. 2 of those occurred, again, along Commons Way, and the third one was along the Malibu Canyon apartment complex. We did have 3 unlocked vehicle thefts that also occurred, unfortunately, along the Malibu Canyon apartment complex, and then 1 along the Avalon apartment complex. And then there were 4 petty thefts. 3 of those incidents occurred in the park streets, and then 1 of those were in the bird streets. And lastly, there was 3 grand theft autos that occurred along the Malibu Canyon apartment complex and 1 along Commons Way. So this is the end of my report. Are there any questions or concerns?
Thank you. Peter?
No questions tonight. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ed?
Thank you for that report. It's nice to see that the trend is working in our favor, even though, we're worried a little bit about the grand theft auto and some of the big ones that happen. It seems like they run in bunches. So we know how hard you work. I know it wouldn't be going down if it wasn't because of that. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
David?
Thank you very much. And obviously, the reminders to people to keep their vehicles locked and not keep things on or in plain view in their vehicles is a good idea for anyone, correct?
Absolutely.
I don't know if any of those,
That is, yeah, that was definitely one of the things involved was unlocked vehicles and then just things in with no tint, no window tint. So being able to see inside of those vehicles and just very easily able to take advantage of that situation. So,
thanks very much, and
Yes, sir.
thank everybody.
yes, sir.
Alicia?
No questions, just thank you for the report.
Thank you.
So I just have a couple observations. Thank you for the report. I'm very happy with the significant drop in crime. Here in our city, residential burglaries tend to be the most serious we generally see, and they're way down. I mean, just by way of example, year-to-date 2025, there were 13. Year-to-date this year is 1. That's just an incredible number. It's a number that we haven't seen in decades. I think having a DA who finally actually prosecutes criminals is part of that. Do you have any other significant things that might be contributing to that?
Yeah, that is definitely one of them. I think the fact that we were able to have more deputies out on the streets right now with, as our Captain Card mentioned, I believe, last month, and that we were able to get an influx of new deputies out here, that we're able to put more deputies on the streets, more patrol cars, more, just being able to drive more neighborhoods around is definitely allowing us to be more proactive instead of, just being reactive to these crimes. So absolutely.
I have a little issue with the percentages. And of course, I was never very good at math, so keep that in mind. But on the percentages that it's going down, they're a little confusing. I don't know, are those, who compile, do you compile those internally?
So that is our crime analyst that comprises those there at our station. But I could have her review them if necessary, if you see
Yeah,
a
I mean, I
discrepancy in that.
I'm not sure that presentation is it does seem confusing, and it does seem like maybe it's slightly, not intentionally misleading, but it's slightly misleading just in the presentation. But I'm very impressed, and I think that's something that should be touted. I hope you guys are doing that. We will. I'm very happy with this. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I have no public comments on that item, so we'll conclude.
Thank you.
And receive the report. Now we're going to go to council announcements. Let's see. Ed?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few short announcements, both very similar in a sense. But first, I'd like to hope everybody had a wonderful Easter and a great Passover. It's a great occasion, it's a great family holiday and get-togethers. Calabasas had a sustainability summit. I believe this was the first one. It was really amazing. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It was held at Founders Hall, co-sponsored by the Calabasas Library. Really, it's inspiring the next generation to be conscious of composting and ecology and plant-based food. It was very well attended. And that leads me into another announcement, which is the Earth Day celebration, which will be this Saturday, April 18th from 2 to 5 at Las Virgenes Creek. It's a public event. We've had it every year. Hopefully it won't rain this year. and awareness for the environment as well as the exhibits. And then lastly, and I should have led with this, I've got my vote ballot in the mail. I got two of them, one for myself and one for my wife. And sure enough, it also had on the corner, "I voted" sticker. So we didn't hand it in. We're going to hand it in tomorrow. I'll be proudly wearing this. So those of you that do see this, please acknowledge it. Please do the best you can and support your city and vote accordingly. Those are my announcements.
Okay, David?
Thank you. I would just like to mention I joined all my colleagues, including, of course, the mayor, for the 35th year celebration of the founding of our city, which actually occurred on the 5th, but we celebrated on the 6th, which was a Monday at the Senior Center. I'll leave that alone because I'm sure you have more to add. And this afternoon, pleased to join Mayor Pro Tem Albrecht, Councilmember Kraut, and myself with the senior volunteer event at the Senior Center, which was really nicely done. Just a note for everybody who does not know, April is Distracted Driver Month. And our city, led by two young teen residents in our city and our staff, put together a wonderful short video. And that video is worth seeing, worth reminding yourself, your children, your grandchildren, your friends, anybody, that this month is Distracted Driving Month, and to be extra safe, extra careful, carry it through the whole year. And last but not least, again, I wish happy holidays to all celebrating, and I believe they conclude the 12th with the Orthodox Easter event, and it's Easter and Passover, so looking forward to having lots of bread soon. Thank you.
Alicia?
All my announcements have been taken, so no, I'm
Peter?
so happy.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Andrew Neville. He's with Viewpoint School here in Calabasas, and he was the third place winner of C-SPAN's national competition for documentary. And he did his documentary on our Calabasas landfill and the struggles that we were going through earlier this last year. So shout out to him for his great accomplishment, his fantastic documentary, for the award he achieved, and our gratitude for covering such a very difficult subject. On another note, speaking of our schools, I want to mention the foundation, which has donated over $2 million to Las Virgenes Unified School District, is having their annual event. The event is going to be April 25th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. here at the Calabasas Country Club. It's going to be a F1 casino night. I'm not sure how they're going to get the Formula One cars in there, but excited to see how they do that. If you're interested in supporting, tickets are $125, and you can find them on thefoundationlvs.org. That's it.
Do you
Thank
have a
you.
copy of the documentary?
You know what? I'll get a copy of the documentary and share that through our city manager.
That'd be great to see it.
Many of my announcements have been taken. I did want to ask the city clerk, though, if she could give us a little summary of the election process and when ballots are due and where they can drop them off, et cetera.
Sure, yeah. Thank you very much for that opportunity. So ballots went out to the public on April 6th, so they were all mailed out. As Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, they've now been received today. So we do have two different ballot drop boxes. One is located, it's the county box that is the typical standard ballot drop box. It's available 24 hours a day. That's curbside in front of City Hall. And we do have one also within City Hall. You can register to vote up through April 20th, and you can submit your ballot by mail or by dropping it off here.
By May 5th.
Sorry?
By May 5th.
By May 5th at 8 p.m., yes, sir.
Okay. So that ends our council announcements. We'll now go to public comment. This is a time where members of the public can address the council on any issue not on the agenda related to the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. You'll have 3 minutes or less. You do need to fill out a speaker card like this, which are located in the back. I have one card. Mark Levinson. Please give us your name and city of residence.
Mayor, City Council, thank you. Mark Levinson. I live in Los Angeles. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We have a number of events coming up. This week is our bowling tournament, and the city again has its team, which I saw the names, very strong team this year. And thank you for participating. Just remind everyone, the proceeds do not benefit the chamber. The proceeds all go to scholarships for high school students. So it's our effort to raise money for scholarships for the students in high school. And it's aside a lot of fun, it's a feel-good event. On May 7th is our annual wine event. It's taking place at the City Plaza from 5:30 to 8. It's going to be wine, food, a couple of boutiques, different tables, sample of different wines are available. Everyone should have a good time. Not drink too much, please. And if you do, please don't drive. But it's, again, a great event. And then on May 1 is Law Day, where the Chamber organizes an event for attorneys in the area to provide free services to the citizens and people of Calabasas. People sign up, they tell us what their area of concern is, and we have an attorney that matches that, and we'll spend 45 minutes with them to answer all of their questions. To thank the attorneys, we also provide lunch for them. And I know the mayor is going to be there again. Thank you. Along with David, will be there as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Would anyone else like to speak in public comment? I don't see anybody else, so we will move on to the consent calendar. That's items 7, 8, and 9. Would anyone like any of these items to be taken off the agenda? In that case, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
Wait, which one of us got the second?
I think Ed did. All right. So we're going on to new business. First item is award of the, item number 10, award of on-call as needed contracts for development review, engineering, and inspection services. Who's giving this report? Curtis?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Temp, and City Council. I do not have a report for this. We actually intended for this item to be on the consent calendar, but I am available for questions should you have any.
Okay. Let's start with David. Do you have any questions or comments?
No questions at this time.
Alicia?
No questions at this
Peter?
time.
Well, because it wasn't on consent, I did have one question. You have 7 consultants. Could you share with us their specialties so we can understand what each one of them is for?
Sure. So generally, they all specialize in civil engineering, which tends to be fairly broad. Some are stronger in traditional civil engineering, grading, drainage. Others are stronger in structural, and others in CM, construction management and inspection. So they can all do those services. Some just have a little bit more expertise in certain areas.
Okay, and they're limited to $300,000 apiece, but we don't anticipate $2.1 million in services this coming year. It's an on-call basis.
Correct.
All right.
We look for the kind of what you might call generous amount for the on-call contract. In the event that we are successful getting grants that allow us to use the on-call list, it allows us to move a little faster.
All right, thank you very much.
Ed?
No questions, thank you.
I have no questions, so I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
5-0. We'll move on to item number 11, which is a West Calabasas Road roundabout construction contract. And this does have a PowerPoint.
Yes, it does have a PowerPoint.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're here to request approval for the construction contract.
Could you speak into your mic? I don't think
Yes,
we can
sir.
hear you.
We're here tonight to request approval for the construction contract of the West Calabasas Road Roundabout Project. And I brought with me tonight here Michael Epp and Sam Potts from our consultant engineers M&S. They're leaders in this field for design, and I just want to introduce them. So there you go. Do you want us playing little musical chairs tonight?
Want to do that? You don't see him, I should.
Well,
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to present on this exciting project for the city. The project is the West Calabasas Road Improvement Project, and the main idea is to improve the intersection of West Calabasas Road at Morrill Road and reconfigure it to a roundabout and improve the safety at that intersection. As far as the purpose of this project, as we stated, is to improve the safety of this intersection. And also, with the roundabout, we can reduce the severity of the collisions at this intersection. Also, there are no pedestrian facilities here, so we're extending those to this intersection in support of the continuing growth in this area. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Sam, who's a senior project engineer at M&S, to talk about the design specifics.
Thank you, Michael. As a lifelong Woodland Hills resident, it's actually really exciting for me to be able to work on this project, especially knowing that it's just kind of here in my backyard. So first, this is part of the West Calabasas Road Master Plan. This was adopted, the master plan, I should say, was adopted in 2006 by council. So the main thing, and just kind of while I was putting together this presentation, actually, I noticed that, the picture is this future roundabout. I just thought it was just a bunch of pretty streets and a tree in the middle, but it's the roundabout, so that makes a lot more sense. So one of the things that this resolution and master plan notes is that it will calm traffic, and it's also going, and there's also this really important caveat that it's going to discourage detouring when congestion issues occur on the freeway on 101. So going into the actual project, so there's some existing operational problems with the existing intersection, and you have to stop number one in order to make any left turn. Also, this results in these conflict points, as we can see here on the slide. Particularly, these are broadside, so think about a T-bone conflict, which happen to be pretty severe in nature. So by switching this to a roundabout, we're able to ease a lot of these conflicts and reduce them. So we're going to see less crashes, but also less severe crashes. One of the existing problems, we have a little kind of heat map, I like to call it here, of the existing intersection configuration, where essentially the visual cues for the drivers are very fast and then very suddenly slow. And in some cases, not slow enough, which is the reason why there's a bunch of bollards now in front of the public works yard there, is because there's been some adventurous drivers. So by switching this to a roundabout, we're able to add what we call splitter islands that serve as a speed management tool. And these are just about the most engineered intersections you could possibly imagine. So we actually do a full analysis to make sure that the operating speeds in and around the roundabout are under 25 miles an hour. We're also going to see improved pedestrian access in the red dash lines. We have the existing sidewalks, so we're actually going to be filling in the gap between where the Audi dealership is and the bridge. So the new sidewalks are in magenta. I should probably also say that. Zooming in here, we're also going to see improved large vehicle navigation. So obviously these auto dealerships have these large car carriers. So we've actually designed to the full legal California limit. So they're actually going to be able to make U-turns out of that. They're not going to have to navigate on Muro Road and go to Las Virgenes Road, essentially. They'll be able to just make a U-turn and get to the Parkway Calabasas on-ramps. Another thing is, this is an existing picture, and there should be, nope, too far. Oh, okay. Anyways, there's a large embankment across or on the side of the road here on the south side. So as part of this project, we're going to be putting in new sidewalk on that side, but also guard railings. So that's going to help protect against any errant vehicles from going over the embankment. We're also going to be implementing a lot of aesthetic improvements. So I grabbed a bunch of sample pictures of the plants that you can expect, as well as a large 72-inch box oak landmark tree that's going to have its new home in the middle of the roundabout. We'll also be installing a new entrance monument, so as drivers come in from the unincorporated part of Mural Road, then they'll be welcomed to Calabasas. So I grabbed this from our plans, and this is kind of inspired by the existing monument that's on Las Virgenes Road. We're also going to be adding about 10 new streetlights, so there'll be ample lighting across the intersection. We're obviously adding sidewalks, which means a beautiful new crossing. We're going to be adding stormwater features, so this is going to be us being good stewards of the environment and making sure that we're able to utilize our landscaping space as well as improve water quality for the city. And that's kind of my overview of the project. I'm going to pass it off to Jay now.
So yeah, talk about funding a little bit. The majority of the funding for this project comes from the Metro's Measure M, which is specifically dedicated to transportation improvements like this. I just wanted to emphasize again that no general fund will be used. We're slowly improving Calabasas Road by adding sidewalk where we have new developments. In the near future, we're planning a holistic improvement of the entire corridor. This roundabout is the first of these improvements that bring a safer environment for bikes, pedestrians, and alignment with our circulation element of our 2030 general plan. This project has had multiple opportunities for public visibility and input. It's been presented to Traffic and Transportation Commission, included in city communications, and featured at community events where staff engage directly with the residents. In addition, the project has been available online throughout design, has been part of the city's capital improvement program for several years. And future outreach includes a contractor open house to discuss closures, traffic impacts, and schedule. Also, lastly, an information table will be staffed at Earth Day. So our recommendation tonight is the council award the construction contract of the West Calabasas Road project to Sully Miller Contracting Company. And that concludes
Okay.
my presentation.
Thank you. First, we'll go to the public comment, and I do have one card, and if you'd like to comment on this and you haven't submitted a card, please do so. I have Bill Cunningham.
Good evening. My name is Bill Cunningham, and I'm the principal engineer and co-owner of a civil engineering, surveying, planning company here in Calabasas, right down the road. We've been involved in existing and proposed or future consulting services for auto dealerships for over a decade now. So simply here to support this project. That was a very good presentation, and I don't think there's a lot left to be discussed other than I agree with the improved safety for the intersection there. Over the years, we've talked to the city when we're working on various projects, and there have been I've heard of times where some of these car carriers get stuck in that intersection and actually get stuck on the median curb, which would block traffic. And I just think about emergency situations, and so the improved safety there is, I think, huge, and just generally the traffic circulation for these guys to be able to turn around and not try to do many point turns and get stuck on here. So yeah, simply here to just support the project, and I think that was a very good presentation by the engineering group. And that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
If there is no other comment, I'm going to close public comment. I'm turn to the city council for questions and comments. Alicia, we'll start with you this time.
I actually don't have any questions. I was just wondering if you could go back to the slide where the public outreach would be done. And I only received one comment, I believe, on this item. Is that right?
Over time?
Yeah, I haven't,
I think there were more than that over time. One recently.
no, I think it was a really good presentation, and it's an intersection that I'm always hearing that people do not feel safe at, and I think this will address a lot of the ongoing safety concerns. So I'm in support. And I think it's great that we'll be out there. Yeah, no, it's good. Thank
Peter?
you.
Thank you. I too am in support of this project. I learned to drive in Reading, Massachusetts. We have rotaries that have rotaries within their rotaries. And it's a lot smoother traffic flow. I know it's a lot of getting used to for Californians who don't see them on a regular basis. So in regards to the outreach, I know we've had at least one negative comment that has been repeated over and over again, that, you know, roundabouts are more dangerous and more difficult and confuse people. And what have you done to respond to that? Is there research to the contrary? Could you give us just a quick answer to that?
Yes, if we go back to this heat map that we've got here. Okay. Compared to a traditional intersection that's at 90-degree angles, the vehicles enter the roundabout from an angle, and they go around, obviously. But all the other cars that are entering the rotary portion of it it's not a 90-degree angle, so you eliminate that possibility of that T-bone, the traditional T-bone crash. And again, looking at this, the blue here represents slower speeds. So everyone is entering the roundabout all at slower speeds. It's compared to the way it is now, where the Moreau coming off the bridge and the people leaving West Calabasas to go up Moreau doesn't stop there at all. So it's just free flow for them, and there's no opportunity for someone coming from that west leg to get in sometimes, especially if you, as you know, in that evening commute time when it's just cars constantly trying to skip the eastbound 101 freeway. They get off of Moreau and they go, and it's just solid cars all the way up to Parkway Calabasas.
So that was a great explanation. Thank you. And is there any dissension in the civil engineering community about roundabouts being safer than intersections, or is that pretty much a universal truth?
Yes, that's the sentiment around the engineering community, is that it is safer than the traditional T intersections that we have right now.
Okay. I do have to go back to your presentation on page 4. You mentioned that this is going to calm traffic and discourage detouring when congestion issues occur on the 101. How does that do both? I'm confused. Wouldn't it smooth things out and make it a more viable route for people to get off the 101 freeway?
So I think one of the interesting things is to almost even echo your previous question. There's a time and a place for roundabouts, and us as engineers have to analyze when that time and when that place is. So luckily, this intersection fills out a lot of those check boxes. Now that being said, in order to actually discourage detouring, we're looking at safer speeds, but then also just one of the nice things too is that if there's too many cars coming into the intersection, then typically signalization will actually be a preferred intersection alternative. So there is kind of an operational cap to the roundabout as an intersection. So essentially this operational cap would be what discourages the detouring.
Okay, so it's safer and smoother, but at high volumes it's slower.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that about answers that. That's it for my questions. I will say I see the bids came in 6.5 million to 5.9 million for the two low bids. I think that's a healthy spread. It's not too big. It certainly shows me that I think the low bidder has captured everything, but I was surprised to see the $8.5 million bid. Any idea why they were out of the ballpark? Are our low bidders missing something, or did the high bidder have a little extra in there?
I usually hope that the low bidder is very low, and I don't care about the rest. But
Well, I like to see the low bidder close to the second low bidder. It gives me the assurance that they're looking at the same RFP.
Yes, and I believe the low and the second, we're pretty close. We just had one that was just out there, if I remember correctly.
Okay, well done. Thank you.
Ed?
Thank you. Beautiful presentation. Really, it made me feel like we're in a new country, having traveled that road very many times. And it's awkward with the way it is right now. So the design feature is great. You're also adding the element of aesthetics, which is very important, and safety as well, taking also into consideration bike lanes and pedestrians that are walking. We might find that maybe there's going to be more pedestrians walking down there now. People do that more and more. So I'm very much in favor of it, very supportive. We live in a neighborhood that does have roundabouts on a modified level, and there isn't a perfect answer to it. I find that when stop signs were there, that was very confusing too, because they're talking about, I got to the stop sign 2 seconds before you, and I own this right turn, or I own the ability to go through it. I think it's going to make things less confusing, and also, again, the aesthetics is what that corridor needs, because we do a lot of business on that corridor and got to be reflective of what our city represents, and it's a huge upgrade. So safety, aesthetics, and the design feature on the side with the brush. Good job.
David?
Thank you. Thank you for the report. And I'm looking at this rendering, and is that what we anticipate it will look like, or is that the?
This is from the cover of the general plan from 2006.
Right.
So that we'll go back to the beginning slide.
I trust our mayor.
This is a more accurate representation of what the roundabout will look like if you're driving towards it,
Got
going
it.
westbound on Calabasas Road.
Okay, thank you. And again, like others have said, all my colleagues have said so far, I think you've explained the issues, how it improves safety, pedestrian safety, the fact that there are 6 major potential danger impact high impact points now. It will reduce it to 3 based on the diagrams you showed. And those 3 will be lower impact potential because of the reduction of speed entering the roundabout. So those to me were very significant in explaining and showing the reduction of potential, or how it helps safety, public safety. The fact that the costs, which are very important, mostly Measure M and grant funds, the balance of the funds. I know you said mostly a majority Measure M. Where are the balance of the funds hopefully going to come from, or plan to come from?
Yes, they're coming from the ad valorem fund, the Fund 21. And was there another piece of it?
I think the order of spend is important. So we're going to utilize the Measure M funds first, and the ad valorem funds are used largely for contingency. There's very little that we actually need for the base contract. So we will likely need some of our contingency. Major construction projects typically do, but any unused funds will be returned to the ad valorem. So we'll minimize our impacts to that fund.
Great, thank you. And to confirm again, no general funds are being used for this project.
Correct.
Thank you. And where can you talked about the studies that were done pertaining to safety and the pedestrian safety and crossing over the road. Where could the public see those studies that you've described if they wish to review them or they have questions?
I know we have some information on our project website. We'll work with M&S to add additional information that we can find, because there are studies all the way up to the FHWA who study roundabouts, and we can provide links to that information on our website too.
That would be great, and especially with regard to the safety of the pedestrian crosswalk as well, which is indicated. That would be helpful. And I know it looks like you're, at least at one point, you're going to be widening the road, putting in rails and street lighting, as you've indicated. Those are all wonderful things for safety on this area, especially at night where it's really dark on those roads. Last question, and I don't mean to cause a difficulty because I love our monuments, I love our city monuments, but I believe, and I'll defer to those who've been here a lot longer than I on the dais, that the monuments were put in as city limit, the beginning of city limits. So was there a discussion that it would go there as being, it's not really the city limit because city
What
limit.
is the city limit?
Okay, when you get off at Las Virgenes and
Well,
it
if
cuts
you're
back
going
over.
on over the Moreau Bridge, that's when, I believe that's the direction it's going to face, right?
Right. The Muro Bridge is actually not in the city limits, so it's right
Right.
when you get to the west side of the bridge that you enter the city.
Okay. Thank you very much, and that's great. I am fully supportive of
And
this.
that goes into my questioning. I have some concerns, and I shared them with Curtis before. So Curtis and Jay, this is going to be mostly questions for you. What alternatives, as far as traffic control, were considered before you came to the conclusion of a roundabout? Because as we know, when we implement a traffic device at any intersection, we always evaluate and consider all the possibilities. So what was rejected and why?
Well, I don't think we formally studied a traffic signal at this intersection. It would be as awkward as the current configuration, though. I can say that without an analysis, just kind of eyeballing it. But we didn't actually formally study that. Really, we just looked at leaving the intersection like it is, and we looked at two forms of a roundabout. So we looked at this roundabout that we have before us, and we actually looked at a smaller version of a roundabout to see if that would also work. But we didn't look at any other configurations. And I'm looking at the design, right? I don't believe we analyzed
I always like
anything else.
to eliminate things, like a stop sign you didn't consider.
Right. No, we did not. It would not, I think given the speeds here, would not really function very well with a stop sign.
Well, what about a one-way, because it's kind of that way now, it's like a yield, but what about like a stop sign from like the Calabasas Road area that's beyond the roundabout?
Yeah, we didn't look at that. I think a lot of the design energy was on a roundabout because it was in the general plan. And
Okay,
it's been
but-
in there for so long. But I understand your question.
But
like,
let me just elaborate further. So if we put a stop sign over there, so that if you're coming down Calabasas Road toward Woodland Hills, so you're coming from the mountain, there's only one building there,
Yeah.
and then there's very little traffic going that direction. What would that do in your assessment if everyone was just allowed to simply go without looking from the Moreau Bridge onto Calabasas Road, or from Calabasas Road onto the Moreau Bridge? Wouldn't that solve some of the problem?
Well, that's kind of you're explaining the situation that we have now, correct? Where it does not stop coming off the bridge and then on the bridge. Am I hearing you correctly? And we have a stop.
Well, I
for
think,
the-
isn't there a yield? Is there a stop
It's a
sign there? or
stop right there.
Is there a stop sign for the people coming on to Calabasas Road from the other side of Calabasas Road?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, there's a stop there now, and there is no opportunity sometimes a day for those people that are trying to go eastbound and cross over the whole intersection. There's no opportunity, there's no break in traffic sometimes, and so those people have a hard time getting out, and this solves that problem.
All right. So this is, in other words, the best alternative in your view.
Yes.
Here's a big problem I have with this thing is the cost. This intersection, as has been noted by several people up here and you, is on the city's border. The county historically has kept Moreau Road a complete mess, including the parts toward Las Virgenes Road where we would repave it and they wouldn't. I mean, there's a long history of this. Took them 10 years to put in a stop sign there after it was warranted out of Mountain View Estates. One of the issues I have is this whole traffic pattern is mostly non-residents. It's mostly traffic off the freeway and going through Calabasas. A lot of it's county residents. In fact, a good portion of it is. Why isn't the county contributing to the cost of this project?
I mean, that is a good question. I think agencies typically look at the jurisdictional lines as very black and white. You know, it's on this side of the line. I mean, just to segue, I'll give you an example. Caltrans has jurisdiction over about 10 feet of this project, and they are making us go through the full encroachment permit process to do work on 10 feet of their right-of-way. And so I think it's just the way agencies work. It keeps a lot of the accounting simpler. Understand in spirit that the county, owns some of the traffic that flows through here. We did not make a formal request to the county. We could.
Well-
I don't know how far it would go, but we could.
See, the thing is, I mean, people are coming over the bridge. They're not going to improve the bridge, so it's going to look pretty ugly on that side of it anyways. And then they're getting the benefit of us improving that entire intersection for mostly their traffic.
We do get a nice benefit, as this is kind of the anchor of Calabasas Road, which is our auto dealership area. And we, like Jay mentioned, we're working with Metro to program additional funds for a future project to do the whole corridor along Calabasas Road. This is kind of like the anchor. And the other benefit for us is the truck traffic, which is really huge. Now the car carriers can make this U-turn and offload on the correct side of the road. And we have observed that occasionally they do offload in the median, which is not preferred. So there are some benefits directly for Calabasas with this
I
as
get
well.
that. I'm just saying, in my view, those agencies should be paying, the state and the county.
Yeah.
And that we haven't asked them to pay. I mean, I shared with this frustration with you before. I realize that the funding is not coming from our general fund, but the funding is coming from funds that if we had more money in them, we could do other projects in Calabasas, right? I mean, we're depleting that fund for something that's really benefiting a large part of the county.
Yeah.
It just is disturbing that they're getting that benefit, because rarely does it go the other way. They don't do anything with Moreau Road. They don't do any, we have to push it.
Yeah, and I think there is some solace in that, again, it is from Metro, which is a regional fund. They are picking up the tab for most of this. And could we, in the way the Metro funds are allocated is also kind of its own bear to tackle, right? I mean, the county does get their own allocations of Metro money. We get a lot of ours through the COG, but we also get it on our own in some ways too. But it's all still regional money. And I think that, if this was just general fund, I think it would really put a point on your concerns. But I do think the fact that it's coming from Metro helps with that
Okay,
concern.
my final question is, if there's cost overruns, which there usually are on projects, where is that money coming from?
Well, so the money we have programmed tonight, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we stay within that budget.
Well, I know
If
that,
there are
but-
overruns, we will go to Metro first and look to amend the agreement and increase the funding.
But if that doesn't work, tell me from the different, is our general fund might be tapped, in other words?
No, our two choices would be Metro, and we would push really hard for additional funding from Metro. And I think we could be successful in the event that we did have cost overruns. The second option would be the ad valorem.
Okay. My final comment would be that I just have big concerns with the cost and the lack of county participation. It looks aesthetically very pleasing, but I just don't know. I'm kind of came into this hearing undecided. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Kendon?
Mayor, if I could speak to your point, I understand actually your comment about the users and the drivers who will be likely using that. Quite a few out-of-town drivers will pass through that intersection. But as both Jay and Curtis mentioned, this is our primary corridor for our auto dealerships. We generate the biggest lump of sales tax revenue from those dealerships. And in reality, Calabasas Road has been very neglected in that area. So in some ways, we generate our most revenues that benefit our senior programs, our recreation programs, our parks, our public safety, and that area has been neglected for years. And so again, as there are a number of other drivers that will be going through that, but the benefit along that corridor for our residents, in the secondary nature of how those revenues come in, is huge. And again, as Curtis and Jay mentioned, this is just the first phase of improving Calabasas Road, which we probably should have done years and years ago on this.
I would
All
like
right.
to add to, Mr. Maria, if I could, the U-turning that Curtis mentioned so that they could turn around there at the roundabout. those car haulers are now, once they're empty, they can just head back to the freeway via Parkway Calabasas, the hook ramps that are between the dealerships and Parkway Calabasas, without using Moreau Road and Las Virgenes at all. So,
Okay, well, I understand all of that. My concerns are separate, and I want to get in the habit of asking these other agencies that constantly use us and rely on us because they don't do their share. I want to get in the habit of at least asking in the future. Okay? Any other questions or comments? And if not, I'd entertain a motion
I'll make the motion.
to approve.
Yes, to approve.
Okay?
I'll second that.
That's Weintraub and Kraut. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Thank you. All right. We are plugging along, and we come to our next item, which is number 12, CalPERS Actuarial Cost Analysis Report for granting 2 years of additional service credit. And that is our Finance Department, Ron Allers.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you tonight is a receive and file report on the CalPERS Actuarial Cost Analysis for offering the 2-year service retirement incentive to our staff. The complete report is before you, as well as other documents that CalPERS sent to us. It is receive and file tonight. No action by the council is requested tonight. CalPERS regulations state that we need to make this cost public at a public meeting 2 weeks prior to action by the council. So it's presented tonight for council, and at your next meeting in 2 weeks, council will be requested to make action on this item and set a time period. For this cost analysis, we entertained all of our staff that are eligible for this retirement incentive. So the staff person has to pass their 50th birthday or 52nd birthday if they're PEPRA, and also be in CalPERS for 5 years or longer. That is 26 individuals that we submitted to CalPERS. CalPERS came back assuming that everybody retires, and that's why you have a large figure before you of 2.9 million. There is 0.01% that will happen. It's just not going to happen. We estimate about 5 to 9 staff people will accept this retirement incentive, and thus we will have the cost savings of those 5 to 9 people, however way it is. So that 2.9 million increase will probably be closer in the neighborhood of 800,000 or 900,000, depending on the individuals that actually accept it. The way it works with CalPERS is that increase in our liability will occur 2 years later, and we will pay it back over 5 years. So the first opportunity we will see this as an increase in our costs will be in fiscal year 28-29. We have the CalPERS actuary that put this staff report, or put the cost analysis together. He is available on Zoom link if council has any questions for the actuary. And that concludes my report.
Okay.
I'm available for any questions.
Well, we'll see if anyone has any questions. I have no comment cards from the public, so we're going to move on to council comments and questions. If there are any, this is going to be a receive and file motion, though. Peter, do you have anything?
No questions.
Ed?
No questions.
David?
Nothing, thank you.
Alicia?
No questions, thank you.
And I have none. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to receive and file the report.
So moved.
Second.
Shapiro Albrecht, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you for your report, Ron.
Thank you.
All right. We move on now to verbal reports. This is the council opportunity to give your verbal reports if you have any. Why don't we start with Ed?
Sure. Little skimpy on the reports. Had the Queen Power Alliance Board of Directors meeting, and we're going into the business of asset ownership. So we're doing our best to keep our costs down, and we're building our reserves again while pricing for energy is low. That's not expected to be that way in the future, so this will be a way to offset costs for residents. and I'm glad we're in this position to do it. Valley Economic Alliance Board of Directors are preparing for our special gala coming up April 30th, with the city has a table. It's a great opportunity to meet other electeds and advance the Valley Economic Alliance's motion through the San Fernando Valley, the 5 cities that it supports. Also had a Chamber of Government Affairs meeting, and very, very good. I enjoy that very much, and share a lot of information with the field reps for our local state electeds. That's my report.
David?
Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem Albrecht forgot to mention, I'm sure he'll mention next time, but he's leading an upcoming panel on the Valley Economic Alliance, I saw, to help community and business members navigate this upcoming time. I attended with my colleagues the chamber breakfast at the Cadillac of Calabasas and the new car unveiling last week. And today had a SCAG meeting, leadership meeting, where, among other things, we agreed to approve, subject to the regional council tomorrow, $9.5 million going to be federal funds being taken care of and directed to Metro for the World Cup, and then beyond, hopefully, for items that will last beyond this World Cup, obviously, relating to transit for the World Cup, for the Super Bowl, and the upcoming Olympics. For the World Cup, they will designate tomorrow, if not tonight. Pierce College will be one of the transit hubs for our area if you are interested in going to any of the games, which are the 10 games which are at SoFi Stadium for the World Cup. Tomorrow is SCAG again, the Joint Policy Committee meetings. All of our committee meetings are together jointly on regional transportation. Looking forward, we will be working towards Connect SoCal 2050. And I know our city will be being contacted and have their local input, which is very important, beginning this month and beyond. And I was honored to be appointed to the Scholarship Committee, and we will meet next Wednesday to finalize selections of the scholarships. Thank you.
Okay, Alicia?
I'll have more to report at the next meeting, but tomorrow I have my SCAG Transportation Joint Meeting. And tomorrow is also the groundbreaking event for the fiber optics project through the COG with all the cities. So lots more to report at our next meeting.
Peter?
Well, I want to say thank you to our city community why am I blanking on the word? Our programming, our community services for the bunny trail, and that was a great event on Saturday, March 28th. I was able to take my grandnephew there and participate. So thank you to all for that. We had a meeting of the Open Space Initiative and annexation ad hoc committees. We need to get some information to you guys shortly on those. That was yesterday. Those things are moving forward. The annexation we'll have more to report on at a later date. But as far as the Open Space Initiative, we have the initial language and some cleanup tasks to take care of, but we are moving forward and plan to have that ready for our November ballot. I think we're on track for that, right? Want to mention as well that I did have an opportunity to meet with Wildan regarding our solar initiative today, and that project is moving forward as well. We should be seeing that here in council in the next few months, I would guess. And then finally, our budget committee actually meets tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And that meeting is open to the public, so anybody here that's listening and wants to know more about the finances of the city and where all that money is buried, come join us right here in council chambers.
Okay, I'm going to forego a report. I will have more next meeting, but I have attended a number of my own committee meetings and subcommittee meetings. So with that, I have the city manager's report, if you have anything.
Mayor, just a few items. Council did mention earlier the 35th anniversary. We do want to know that the video is posted. So Annie Cardillian and our staff put together a wonderful video, about 5 minutes long, tracing some important events through our 35th 35 years of history. Also mentioned by the council was the Senior Volunteer Recognition Luncheon earlier today. Not only was it a great event, it's wonderful to see so many of our senior volunteers in the room at one point. They're moving and they're doing things all the time, and we couldn't do it without them. Today they recognized Laura Weischer with the recognition for her involvement and her leadership this year. Staff was also able to meet with Southern California Edison. There is going to be a big undergrounding project starting, which is exciting for us to see some of the overhead electrical lines finally go underground. This is a project that's not just in Calabasas, but it's regional. And one of the things that we will be working with our staff and Public Works is to really, and Southern California Edison, is to really notify the public of these projects and when they're happening. They're outlining a plan for the next 2 years with work starting this summer in some areas. And we understand that there's going to be an inconvenience to this. It's always problematic when we open up trenches on the street and the issues that come with that. But we do hope residents remember that the whole purpose of undergrounding is to create a safer environment with these, especially with fires. Councilmember Kraut, you mentioned the annexation. I do want to report that at the request of the city, LAFCO extended the public hearing another 2 months or until June 10th. We'll be continuing to do outreach with residents and property owners in that area of Craftsman's Corner. And then finally, I just want to acknowledge again, Councilmember Kraut, you mentioned the budget meeting. That is open to the public, and we encourage public participation on that. As many of you know, we have transitioned to a new financial software. The budget is much more user-friendly. It's very clean, and we can go line by line and see where the funds are spent. And so we want, again, public input on this. And then finally, Mayor and council members, we want to wish the best for our bowling team on Friday. Their name is Living on a Spare. And so, but there is a second name that's been floating around as the Measure K Kingpins. So either one, we hope they win on Friday night.
Okay, and I have no other verbal reports, so we are going to be adjourned at 8:10.